It's recap time. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Shower Podcast, the podcast where I'm in my shower and you do you. I'm your host, Chip, and this is not my usual intro. This is a bit of a special episode. Unfortunately, I will be away for a few days, and I found out this interesting way of filling the gaps with recaps from previous episodes. If this is your first time here, use it as an opportunity to find topics that you might be interested in and go back to listen to the original ones. If you are a usual listener of the Shower Podcast, well, again, this might be a rehearsal of topics that you might be interested in. Otherwise, I understand if you want to wait for me to be back. But in the meanwhile, the podcast needs to continue and we need to reach day 365. Having said that, I will not keep you longer. Thank you very much for listening. As always, a like and a subscribe. They are always welcome. And now, recap time.
Welcome to the deep dive. Really glad you could join us today. We've got a bit of a special session planned. This one actually comes from a great request we got from our friend Chip. He asked if we could maybe revisit some discussions from his own Shower podcast.
Yeah, and we definitely jumped at the opportunity. He has some really insightful stuff there.
Absolutely. So our mission today, pretty straightforward. We're going to unpack 5 specific episodes from Chip's podcast. We'll try to pull out the main topics, the key insights, and maybe some memorable moments too.
Right. Think of it as like a concentrated dose of wisdom, a bit of a shortcut to some of the really profound ideas he explores.
Exactly. A shortcut.
And Chip's got this really great way of looking at everyday stuff, very introspective, but also super relatable. These summaries will give you a good feel for it.
Definitely.
But it's probably worth saying, if any of these ideas really click with you, like if you have an aha moment listening to this, then you should definitely check out Chip's original episodes. Seriously, there's so much more context and personal reflection in them.
Spot on. Consider this your highlight reel, maybe a sneak peek. Okay, ready to dive in?
Let's do it.
All right. First up is Chip's episode 182. It's called Knock Knock.
Ah, yes, the neighbor one.
That's the one. Chip basically kicks it off by tackling something we all deal with, right? Procrastination. And he uses this really vivid metaphor about this bothering neighbor.
Yeah, you know the type. Just keeps popping up, wanting to chat, kind of lingers, makes you feel a bit stuck.
Exactly. But what's clever is how Chip immediately says, look, this neighbor isn't actually like a person outside your door.
Right. It's internal. It represents those tasks or those nagging thoughts, the stuff we keep putting off.
The things that keep metaphorically knocking at our door, wanting attention, that email, the chore, maybe even a bigger goal you're avoiding.
Yeah, and the core insight, the thing that really makes you think, is that ignoring this neighbor, it doesn't work. It doesn't make it go away.
No, in fact, he argues it often makes it worse. And the reason is kind of interesting. It's because deep down, we actually care about the task.
Exactly. That's the kicker. You wouldn't be bothered if you didn't care.
Right. He shared this great personal story about skipping the gym. He realized, even if he wasn't actively thinking, oh, my health, the act of not going weighed on his mood.
That mental burden.
Yeah, because he kept thinking about how he could have gone. So the procrastination neighbor kind of feeds on that neglect, turns simple things into these heavy feelings.
So zooming out a bit, his solution isn't just about brute force, like just do it. It's more subtle.
Yeah.
It's about confronting the neighbor, but like understanding why it's knocking. Why are you actually avoiding this thing? Is it fear? Are you just exhausted?
Or maybe you just don't know where to start.
Precisely. Nailing down that why is the first real step.
Okay, so that leads to the practical part. The real, actionable nugget here is what Chip calls the half-solution strategy.
Right. Making friends with the neighbor, sort of.
Yeah, you don't have to, invite them in for a 3-course meal immediately. Maybe just crack the door open, make a small compromise, take one tiny step.
The goal being to shift that feeling from being bothered and negative
to acknowledging, okay, I care about this. Even 5 minutes, or just writing down the first step, signals to yourself that you're engaging. It turns guilt into action.
Chip even mused about maybe the neighbor doesn't need to knock every day. Maybe every couple of days is fine if you're generally moving forward.
Yeah, it's about being on the path. Okay, so we've wrestled with those internal nudges. Then Chip kind of broadens the view in the next one. Episode 183, Too Much Too Soon. He starts talking about the bigger game of life.
Ah, yeah, the board game analogy. That was pretty neat.
It really was. He starts with this question, super relatable. Would you trust someone or even want to play a board game with someone who just ignores the rules, skips the manual, just starts playing based on, vibes.
Right. Probably not. And then he connects it straight to how we often approach life.
So his take is that life is a game, in a way. But there's no single manual.
Exactly. No one rule book.
Mm-hmm.
But, and this is key, individual things within life. They do have rules, not strict rules maybe, but patterns. What works, what doesn't.
Okay.
And he points out a common trap. Setting these huge expectations based on assumptions or just what we've heard instead of like facts or seeing how things actually play out.
So if there's no manual, how do we figure out these rules then?
Good question. His strategy is basically observation. Watch how others play the game, learn the patterns for specific activities.
See what works.
Yeah. And he emphasizes the goal isn't just to blindly follow rules. It's about knowing them so well.
That you can bring your own style, like good board game players do.
Exactly. They know the game inside out, then they innovate. They get creative within the structure. It's informed creativity.
Okay, that makes sense. But why do we fall into that too much too soon trap, expecting huge results right away?
Well, Chip's solution for that is actually really simple but powerful. It's about translating those general rules into your own personal progress points.
Progress points.
Yeah. Instead of fixating on some massive, maybe unreachable reward way off in the distance.
Yeah, get down.
Break it down. Focus on smaller, tangible wins you can actually achieve along the way.
And the memorable bit here, the image he really liked, was celebrating the small plus ones.
Mm-hmm. The little victories.
Right. Don't just wait for the giant jackpot. Actively notice and celebrate every small step forward. That way, you actually enjoy the journey.
Make total sense. It fosters consistency and makes the process itself rewarding, accumulating those small wins.
Which, interestingly, thinking about progress and rules, it leads really nicely into his next topic, episode 184, Mind the Gap, talking about the significance of the spaces we leave in our lives.
Yes, the London Underground phrase, instantly recognizable.
Totally. But he applies it to our daily routines, our choices. The danger of a gap isn't just, falling onto the tracks. It's about those moments when we're not actively choosing.
Right. He mentioned he got the core idea from another podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Where the host said something like, empty spaces never remain empty. And that's Chip's central point here.
Okay.
When we don't consciously decide or act, we leave this gap, and our subconscious, or what he kind of calls our less desirable self, it just jumps in, automatically fills that void for us, like a default setting.
He gave such a good example, and honestly, it kind of hits home for me.
Oh, yeah. Which one?
The takeout one. You're tired, didn't plan dinner.
Yes. The path of least resistance.
Exactly. Instead of cooking, you just kind of default to ordering food. That moment you hit order. Often it's because you left a decision gap. You didn't choose consciously.
And the less desirable self, the part wanting comfort and ease, made the choice for you. Often one you might regret later if you're, say, trying to eat healthy.
It's amazing how often that default kicks in when we're not paying attention.
And the wider implications are pretty significant, right? These unnoticed defaults, they can subtly just chip away at your progress, especially with self-improvement goals.
It's like this sneaky form of self-sabotage. Hard to spot unless you're really looking.
It's not malicious, it's just automatic.
Yeah.
The default takes over when choice is absent.
What I also found quite human about this one, Chip actually said he struggled a bit recording it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he admitted it was tougher, partly because the concept is complex, but also apparently it was just really hot in his shower that day.
Huh. That's brilliant. Very relatable.
Okay.
Even deep thoughts get interrupted by, well, life.
Totally. So if the subconscious is always ready to fill these gaps, what's the takeaway?
Well, it really highlights the importance of having good defaults. Good habits already in place.
So you build the structures beforehand.
Exactly. Because if you don't choose how that empty space gets filled, something else will.
Yeah.
And it might not be what you actually want. It's a real call to be intentional.
Intentionality. Okay. So moving from understanding these internal gaps and defaults, Chip then takes us somewhere really creative. Episode 185, Where's the Map?
Yes, the fantasy world idea. This one was fun.
It really was. He basically invites us all to become artists, using ourselves as the canvas to build this personal fantasy world or a map of our inner landscape.
Such a neat exercise in self-awareness, making the internal feel almost tangible.
Yeah. But how does that actually help? Like, practically speaking, visualizing your inner world.
Well, that's the core of it. He said it was inspired by a game, Expedition 33, and an escape room experience.
Yeah.
The idea is to externalize your mind, your personality, in this imaginative way so you can actually, look at it and understand it better.
Okay, so give me some examples. What might be on this map?
He gave some cool ones, like
Yeah.
maybe a small castle for your memory, like a mind palace, right? Where knowledge is stored and connected.
Oh, I like that, like mental architecture.
Exactly. Or maybe poisonous areas representing traits you want to work on, like anxiety, needing some cleansing, or adventurous landscapes to show you're willing to try new things, to experiment.
That's really creative. And didn't he mention using AI too?
Yeah, like using large language models to help brainstorm ideas for your map, like a creative partner for exploring your own mind. Pretty cool, right?
That is pretty cool. So the benefit is?
The benefit is making it concrete. It helps you see your strengths, weaknesses, areas for growth much more clearly. It turns abstract self-improvement into something you can almost navigate. Decide which paths to take, which areas need work.
Like choosing your next quest in your own internal RPG.
Kind of. And he even said he planned to share his own map online, which is a nice touch. Shows he's committed to the exercise.
Yeah, definitely encourages you to try it yourself. Imagine building your own inner world map. Okay, so after mapping our inner world, understanding progress, Chip then pivots to something that, honestly, many of us find really hard.
Doing nothing.
Exactly. The final episode we're looking at today, 186, Dolce Far Niente.
The sweetness of doing nothing. Such a great title.
It is. And he starts by asking, does it actually feel sweet to you? Or, like it sometimes did for him, maybe a little bitter.
Right. He was really open about his own struggle with this.
Yeah.
Especially being so focused on self-improvement.
Yeah, he mentioned feeling guilty about like sleeping in on a weekend or even just wanting to take a regular book to the pool to relax instead of something, educational.
That feeling of needing to optimize every second.
Totally. And that gets to his main point, identifying the toxic part of hustle culture.
That pressure.
Yeah, that mindset where every single moment feels lost if it's not productive or geared towards self-improvement. It creates this constant low-level anxiety. I know I feel that sometimes. Like any idle moment is wasted potential. Is that pretty common?
Oh, absolutely. It's a huge internal battle for many people today. And Chip's message here is actually quite liberating.
How so?
He basically says, look, not every moment is created equal. And you can actually get a lot done in a relatively short amount of focused time. So long-term progress. It isn't going to be derailed by taking a day off, or even a few days. The real problems only crop up if you consistently have huge gaps of doing nothing over a long period.
So occasional intentional rest isn't the enemy.
Far from it. It's probably essential.
And that's really his conclusion, isn't it? The realization that embracing dolce far niente, the sweetness of doing nothing, it's not some lazy luxury.
No, it's vital. It's part of well-being. Sometimes doing nothing is exactly what you need to rest, recharge, and actually be more effective later.
He even said this episode, and maybe the podcast itself, is kind of a personal challenge for him too, which is nice. Shows everyone's still figuring things out.
Definitely. A journey, not a destination.
Well, we've certainly covered a lot of ground today thanks to Chip's insights, from battling that procrastination neighbor,
The internal nag,
to learning the rules of life's game and celebrating those little plus ones, then thinking about the gaps we leave and how our subconscious fills them.
leading to that really imaginative idea of mapping our inner selves.
Yeah. And finally, landing on the importance and the difficulty of just doing nothing sometimes. Dolce far niente.
It's a great arc. Chip really does offer these fresh takes on challenges we all face, distilling big ideas into these memorable analogies and, practical bits of advice.
Absolutely.
So maybe listening to this, you can reflect on which of those neighbors or rules or gaps or maps or even those moments of needed rest. Which one resonates most with you right now?
Yeah, maybe one sparked an idea or even a small action you could take.
That would be fantastic.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this particular deep dive. And really, thanks for being such a curious and engaged part of our community. It makes doing this so rewarding.
It really does.
Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and see you tomorrow.